and welcome to my channel. I'm Lydia with Raindrop Lila, and today we are going to continue working on this journal. I actually worked a bit on this journal off camera because it's been taking just so incredibly long to work on camera, but I did save the cover to do on camera, and I'm going to bind it together also. I basically made some ephemera and I glued down different some of the ruffles that came with the kit. Like, I have a couple left, but I glued some of these on the pages, and I'll show you guys what I did. But for now, we are going to get started. I'm going to bind the journal, and then I'm going to sew this to the cover because I think that I'm at a good point where I kind of know approximately how thick this is going to be. So that's where we're going to start at now. Okay, so I have my waxed thread that I'm going to use. I have one of these. You can definitely use something else like a, if you want to use a thumbtack, you can do that. If you don't have one of these, I do recommend these. These make it really, really easy to work with. One more thing. I like to use paper clips or bulldog clips to clip everything kind of together. I pulled out all the ephemera so that it doesn't hang out. And then the cover page is super detailed and it has a lot of pieces coming out. So I just paper clipped this piece of paper to protect the cover of the signature. Okay, so now what we're going to do is I want to kind of figure out where, make sure they're somewhat even. And I'm going to start with the back cover. Okay. I want to make sure that this is as close, is pushed as close as possible, so there's no gaps. Let's see, I think that I need to double check it. I'm going to take this out because I had this just paper clipped on there. I don't want to have anything that's just kind of hanging too much. Okay, so we're just going to go for it. Let's see. I just want to make sure I'm lining it up properly. Okay, so now I poked my hole in there and I'm going to use the needle. I'm not going to pull it out all the way because I'm going to guide my needle through by having them kind of touch because it's kind of hard to... Yep, I lost it. It's a little bit difficult, or a lot difficult, to get the perfect... to go back in through this way, if that makes sense, because I have so many layers I'm going through. So I usually hold on to my owl right there and I try to poke it in with my needle into that same hole. Sometimes it works pretty good, but this time I'm having some difficulty. So I'm just going to pull it out through the fabric, and then the fabric is where it always gets me because there's so many layers. And so, okay, so that's going to be fine. So if you hold it together, and once you have your hole punched with this, if you hold it together and you don't move it, your needle should go through it fairly easily because the needle will be smaller than the owl. Okay, so that one went through pretty easily. Okay. I keep fussing with it because I want to make sure that it's really, really easy to get it misaligned and get it a little bit crooked. So that's why I keep looking at it to make sure it's going through properly. I'm actually doing a 5-hole pamphlet stitch. I usually do 3, but I'm going to do the 5-hole one this time. Okay, I was just checking to make sure that they open properly. I think that it is good. This, I actually wanted it to be a little bit off-centered. Hold on, this one right here, see that? So that's fine. Okay, so I just had to tighten them just a bit. And now I'm going to tie them together. Okay, and now we're going to have the other signature. I usually do 4 just to make sure. I do 4 times the height just to make sure I have enough, because sometimes when I go less, I might not have enough. But you might be okay with 3. But I like to have longer threads at the bottom in case I want to add like little charms. Okay, so I'm trying to line them up so that they're equal at the top and the bottom. And now I'm poking my tool through, okay? Okay, so I held it in place as perfectly in place as I could so that it goes through easier, okay? Now I'm going to go down and I'm going to make 2 more holes. You can just make 1 here and 1 here, but I'm going to make 2 because I want it to be a little bit more secure, because my my pages I tend to really pack in a lot of ephemera and a lot of texture, which makes my pages heavier. So I like to, sometimes I'll do 3, but it depends how many, like how much stability I need. So you can totally do 3, just a 3-hole pamphlet stitch, or you could do a 5 if you want like that extra stability. And sometimes I think that the 5-hole stitch is actually better for a soft cover journal because you don't have that stability from the spine that you would in a normal book or a normal journal. So I find that using the 5-hole works better. Okay, this is, my paper clips are coming off. I'm going to double check the pages to make sure they're lined up properly. And okay, they are. And now, let's see. Okay, so sometimes the fabric cover will shift, and you know what? Since I have these, since it's lined, see all those lines? That's helping me because I'm trying to make it a little bit, I'm trying to line it up with that so that it helps me keep it straighter, and hopefully that'll work. Let's see. Okay, so now I'm just tying them off, and it is all bound. So this part is done. Now what I want to do next is I'm going to keep the cover still like this so that I don't accidentally sew through my page. Okay, so now what I want to do is I'm going to work on the spine. Let's see. So I want to do something like this. And I think that this is too big. I'm wondering, should I actually do a seam? Let's see. I think I want to trim part of this off, like about this much. Yeah. So I'm just going to eyeball it and just cut this piece off. Oops. Okay, this is the front of it. Like, do I want to do this? Or should I just sew it straight on like this? Because then I think I need to make it just a little bit smaller. Actually, I think that's fine. Let's see. I think that's good, except Yeah, it's covering a little bit more than I want it to, so I'm going to trim a bit more off. Maybe about this much. Okay. I think that's better, much better. And I think it's beautiful just as is, though. I mean, wouldn't that be just like, I think that's really beautiful, anyways, but I'm going to go ahead and add this to it. Okay, so we are going to sew. Okay, so what I did was I pinned down the velvet spine part to the cover, and now I'm going to pin the lace down also so I can sew it on here. It just makes it easier if it's pinned down. Oops. Okay, I need to take it off because I pinned it too close to the edge. Okay, so I don't want to sew straight through into this pocket. So I put these pieces in here to help me not go through it, right? Okay, so here is the lace, and what I'm going to do now is I want to see that scallop a little bit on the edge. So I'm pulling it down. You don't have to. You can have a total, you can do a straight, you can just cut it straight if you wanted to, but I figured why not use that because I like the way it looks. And I'm just going to pin it so that it makes it easier when I sew it on here. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is this will go on top. But for now, I'm just going to sew I'm going to cut this off because I don't need this anymore. And then cutting it. Okay, I'm going to cut this off because I don't need it. And I just need it a little, I want it a little bit shorter so you can see the brown velvet, right? It's feeling awkward the way I'm trying to sew so you guys can see it, but it feels a little bit awkward on camera because I want to make sure I'm on camera, but it's also, I like to have it closer to me usually, but that's okay. We'll make it work. Okay, so I'm just going to do like a stitch on here. You can do whatever stitch you want. I was going to do a running stitch, but then I thought maybe this will be easier or better. So I'm just going to go with it. It's fine. Okay, so here's what I have so far. And I'm going to sew it on the top too. You know what? I'm going to take the lace off because I want to be able to see the velvet better. I like that. I think it's so pretty. And I like the stitches up there. I think I need to tie it off. So I'm going to just tie it off underneath here so you don't see it. I don't always mind if you can see my knot, but in this case, I think that I can just tie it underneath the velvet a little bit. Okay, so while I'm sewing through these, I'm trying to kind of keep to the top part because we have this is like a little bit of a, I think it's quilted. Gosh, I can't remember now. Yeah, it's quilted. So, okay, so what I'm trying to do is kind of keep to the top part of this so I'm not stitching through. I don't want my cream stitching to show on this piece because I like the way it looks on this side, right? So I'm kind of trying to pick up just the top part of the fabric. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so I stitched this side and this side. They're basically little X marks or cross stitches. And then I did the same on the edge. I went back over it. So I went in one direction on a diagonal and then I went back over it again. And I'm going to do that on the bottom also now. And I'm going to pull this pin out. Okay, so there's that. I'm going to tie it off now. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to sew the lace now to the cover. You can totally go a little bit bigger on the lace if you wanted to, but I like seeing the velvet. I'm just so in love with this velvet. I love to see it. Also, I don't want to cover it up too much, so that's why I'm going for the scalloped edge right here. And because I just want to see part of it. And this does cover some of it up, but that's okay. Okay, so now I'm just gonna stitch the lace on here. Let's see. You can use whatever stitch you want. I want to make sure I didn't go through to the pocket because these fell out while I was working on the spine part. They just kind of came out. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to go through and do some stitching this way just to attach it because I feel like it's not, I don't like the way it looks. You can leave it, but I think it needs some more stitching because as of right now, I only stitched around the whole lace. So I think I want to stitch more of this lace straight onto the spine. And I think it'll look so good. Okay, so basically I sewed, let's see, I sewed a little bit right here, and right here, okay, for that, for the spine. And then I pulled my tool and I layered 4 pieces. I folded it in half and half and again, and then I cut the sides. And then I'm thinking to just layer them like this maybe. Let's see. I'm thinking to layer them, but I also have this piece that I want to use now. This could be used as another layer on the spine. That would be pretty. It could even go just like this, right? That would be pretty, but I'm actually thinking, let's see. I'm thinking to cut some of these pieces off so I can sew them on there. Just kind of layer them. Like this. And then I think I want one more. And this one down here. See, like that. I think that's really pretty. I'm still thinking, should I add this or is that going to be too much bulk? Maybe I'll just add one. I think I'm going to add one so that it kind of softens the look. And I think these ones I'm going to save to use for either a different project or I can use them on the inside of the journal. Okay, so I am going to sew everything down again. So I'm just tacking these pieces down and I'm attaching it to, I have the tool right underneath here also. Okay, so I basically just hand stitched all these pieces on here. I just tacked them down. And now I also have that tool on the back. I just decided to use one piece. And I am going to now tack this whole piece to the journal. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, let's see. So I'm just going to add some stitches to hold it down to the cover, basically. I don't want to go all the way through the cover. Okay. I'm trying to keep the stitches fairly small, or I'm just going over the stitches that are already there, so it's a little bit seamless, so you can't see them, basically. Okay, I'm just going to I'm going to tie it off right here on the back side. And then I'm going to attach it at the bottom too. Okay, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys being here, and I will see you guys again next time. Bye-bye.